Hello everyone, my name is Sarah Cahill and I do not want to make this video. Let me explain. Every single motivation to do any sort of work sort of vanished into thin air. Poof, my motivation is zero. It's less than zero, which is not ideal. So here I am, forcing myself basically to make a video in order to get some work done. And it's annoying me that I'm not being productive, and it's annoying me that I'm not being motivated. So what else do I need to do except to try and find ways to get my motivation for writing and creating back? Hence this video, where I'm going to try experimenting with different ways to get myself motivated to write, basically, because something has to work. Something has to work. It has to. So I'm going to find out what it is. I wanted to sort of start off the video trying to think of the root cause of my lack of motivation. And the only thing that I'm bothered to think of, that's how bad my motivation is that I've recently started full-time work, which is the first time I've worked so many hours in at least 5 years. So I went from working roughly 8 hours a week when I was at Disney to my store closing and not working for 5 months to then doing what I'm doing now, which is like 45 hours a week. And I'm so tired and I'm struggling so much, and I hate that it's taking up so much of my time that I usually had in order to be able to write. But life and family must come first. So I sort of need to get used to working constantly, and instead of not doing any work at all when I'm not physically at work, using the time that I have during the day, which is not a lot, to actually get some writing work done. That's because I don't want to. I just want to not do anything at all whatsoever after 9 hours of running around. Or before I have to do 9 hours of running around. But if I want to be a published author, I can't not write. So therein is my dilemma. So over the next few days, I'm going to be trying out 3 different ways to get myself motivated in order to do some writing. So we're going to go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Monday, today, Tuesday, tomorrow I am at work. So we are going to be trying 2 different extremely timed methods in the time that I have on those 2 days. Wednesday is my day off, so we can try a longer, more thoughtful, timed experiment to see if that will help my motivation. I know for a fact that I'm also having trouble focusing when I do decide that I want to write. I'll write a few lines, I'll sort of stop, I'll drift off, I'll lose focus. Even if I'm like in a sprint or something with other people, I won't focus for the entirety of the 20 minutes, however long the sprint happens to be, which is very unusual for me. Again, down to the lack of motivation that I have to actually do the work. So hopefully something within these timed experiments is going to kickstart the focus that I need in order to stay motivated throughout some sort of sprint. I'm saying a lot of words, I'm not doing a lot of things because I'm procrastinating, because I don't want to do the work. So I don't have a lot of time today. I have to be at work at like 11 o'clock, which gives me an hour before I have to leave for work. So not a lot of time at all. First method that I'm going to try today, which is one of my go-to methods when other people say they're struggling and they're in a writing slump, and they don't want to do any work, because I give people advice, I don't follow my own advice, of course, to write for just 5 minutes, because it's just 5 minutes. And you know, I used to be able to force myself to do just 5 minutes, and that would sort of kickstart that, ooh, let's keep going. I don't know how well that's going to work for me today. So basically we're just going to Elon Musk it and do 5-minute sprints. Hopefully not one 5-minute sprint and then half an hour later a second 5-minute sprint. Hopefully regular 5-minute sprints over the next hour or so. and see how much I focus for. The issue now is I need to pick a project to work on, and I don't particularly feel motivated to work on any of them. But not to worry, because I have my handy little box. Basically all my projects are in this box, and I'm just gonna root around and I'm just gonna pick a project out, and whatever project I pick out, that's the project that I'm going to be working on today. I won't switch projects, mostly because I'm not going to be working on it for very long, and if I keep switching, it's going to cause me to procrastinate more. So today's project is Abingdon House, which is my middle grade magical realism 5-book series that I am working on. I have just finished sort of basic outlining or save the cat outlining all the books in the series. So I don't really know where I need to go from where I currently am to what I need to do next. My phone is in the way of my screen. I can't see what I'm doing. There we go. So I think what I'll do in these first 5 minutes is procrastinate and just go through what I currently have in the series and sort of see if it all makes sense, and try and connect some of the plot points to each other so I know that everything is in the right way and the plot makes sense and the motivations are there, etc, etc, because that is the least amount of work that I have to do, but it's still work. So let's get started. I'm using a new timer because I thought let's have a pretty timer in the background of the video. Thought I set it for 5 minutes. Apparently I did not, and I set it for like 5 hours. Okay, now that I know that that's what I'm doing, first 5 minutes went okay. I guess I did procrastinate for about 15 minutes before I actually started it though. Yeah. I just don't want to. I just don't want to, but I must. I didn't really get much done. I sort of went through everything that happens in book 2 of Abingdon House. I added a couple of questions that I needed to answer in regards to me doing a much more detailed plot outline for it. They're looking for clues, but like, what are these clues that they're looking for and how do they help? I spotted something that I thought could be useful as a sort of foreshadow to one of the later books. I think book 2 makes sense. Still feel like I need to put more immediate bad guy in the books though, as opposed to sort of like history bad guy. But when I get around to proper detail plotting the books, I'll sort of figure something out then. So let's just move on immediately to the next 5-minute sprint while I'm actually got all my work up, because if I stop I'm not gonna start again basically. Yeah, okay, let's go. Okay, so that is my hour up. Only did 3 sets of 5 minutes in the end. 15 minutes worth of work, because I did the first 2 and then I went on YouTube and watched a few YouTube videos which have nothing to do with what I need to do, and then I was like, oh, I'm supposed to be doing something, aren't I? and then I did the last 5 minutes. But 15 minutes worth of work. Got that in the end. I wouldn't call it much motivation or productivity throughout those 15 minutes, to be fair. I free wrote 138 words of me trying to sort of think about how I can make the villain more of a presence in the book, that Hazel is aware that something is going on with them throughout the series. And then I just wrote some questions and took out maybe a couple of events from the series as a whole, and that's about it. So I did about 5 minutes worth of work in those 15 minutes that I was supposed to be working. And my book too doesn't have an opening image, and I wasn't bothered to think of one, which I really should have done, but I did not. 15 minutes total, and 5 out of 15 minutes I felt I was actually motivated to do something. All I kept on thinking about was the fact that I wanted more tea, but I was in the middle of a sprint, so I did not go up and get one, where normally I would have. So I don't know if I can call that a win or not. I can't. That was a fail. Dishonour on me, dishonour on my cow, dishonour on my tea mug. So now I do need to get ready for work, and I don't want to do that either, but I must. And maybe we'll see if we can get some more 5 minutes done after I come home from work, which, to be fair, I probably should also do as well, because I do need to get into the habit of working not only before work but also after work, in order to maximize the writing work. Okay, let's not do anything. I've lost all sense of what to do. Okay, cool, I'll be back. I don't want to do this. It is day 2 of experimenting with motivation. I didn't actually end up doing 5 minutes worth of work when I got home from my actual work last night, because I wasn't bothered to, which sort of defeats the purpose, I guess. The purpose is to push through and do it, even if I don't feel like doing it, to see if it can keep me going. But it's fine. It's fine. We failed the first part of the experiment, so now we are going to be moving on to the second part, which is Pomodoro sprints, and it's a lot more focused than 5 minutes, and I struggled with 5 minutes, but hopefully we'll see some improvement today, maybe. I've already procrastinated enough this morning. It is 10:30. I got home from doing the kids' school run like an hour ago, and I was like, I need to do the video, I need to film, I need to work, and I was just like, no, we're good, I don't feel like it right now. But we have more tea, I've had my breakfast, I'm like, I can't keep putting it off, I need to get it done. So once again, we're going to turn to my box of, what's the word I'm looking for? Box of projects. There we go. And we're going to root around and pick one. I might do one project per Pomodoro, which are like 25-minute sprints, or 25-minute sections of work. To be fair, it's not really a sprint if I don't make it one. First, we're going to be working on Beneath the Hawthorn Lies, which is my YA fairy novel. I'll leave that out so I don't pick it again. I think one of the issues is in the majority of my projects, which is all of them bar one, I'm not actually doing any drafting, which I find easier. It's re-outlining and replotting, which is more brain work for me, which makes it more difficult for me to constantly focus on. That might be one of the reasons why I'm so unmotivated. Who knows? Who knows? Because there are times when I'm not really motivated to do the second draft of Project Mystic either, and that's the drafty one. But yeah, okay, so let's think about where I am in that project, which I don't think is very far than the first draft. I have reread it since then. I haven't even reread it, have I? But it has been through an alpha beta round, so I have notes that I can work on with. So what we'll do is we'll turn to free writing, because that seems to be the easiest thing for me to do to get any physical work done, because it's typing. And I'll go back through my beta notes and I'll see where the story needs to be improved and sort of free write solutions to the plot issues. And we'll start there. It is break time. Ta-da! We did okay. I actually did quite a bit of work, which I'm very happy about. Wrote 539 words for free writing, which always helps me because I don't have to like think anything that comes to mind, or questions that I need answering or asking. No, questions I need answering in regards to the plot. I write down and then I just sort of like free write what I think the answers are going to be, so that helped. I'd actually done a lot more work on Project Faye than I really thought I did. Must have done some work for it in January this year, because I've already got like notes on what I need to change and things I need to include, and I've got like a sort of very basic outline set up of how I want the new story to go. So yay for that. I had to force myself to do it, but there wasn't really a point throughout those first 25 minutes where I was like, I need to stop, I don't want to do this anymore, which I was feeling yesterday but did not feel today, so yay for that. Let us pick the next project I'm going to work on for the next 25 minutes, and then I'm actually going to take a break for the next 3 minutes. Maybe get myself some more tea, we'll see. Next 25 minutes we are going to be working on Abingdon House again. Okay. Okay, that's fine. I could figure out something to do with Abingdon House, I guess. I suppose. 2 minutes and 40 seconds worth of break.
Sorry?
Maybe not you.
Oh, you turned around, so I thought you were talking to me.
2 minutes and 30 seconds left of break. Maybe I will get a snack also. That sounds like a good idea. And then we are back to work. I'll be right there. couldn't decide what I wanted for a snack. Got it now. This is how I'm currently spending my time. Being so motivated and productive to literally just label the scenes for Abingdon House in book 2. So I can very much properly and detail outline the Save the Cat outline that I have already created. Is this a good use of my time today, right now? Not particularly, because I've been setting this up for the past 12 or so minutes, not including the 5 minutes I spent during the sprint playing Wordle, but we're not going to talk about that. Is it something that needs doing? Yes. So useful? No, not particularly. Required in order for me to continue doing my work. It is in my head, so that's what we're doing. Project Mystic. Let's go. And we are done with the 3 Pomodoros. 3 25-minute, let's lift you up, writing sessions, which went the opposite of what I hoped they would. I hoped they would start off very, oh, I'm not quite motivated to do this. And then my motivation to work would go up the more Pomodoros I did. But instead of starting low and going up, it started up high and then it just went downhill from there, which is because of course it did. The more I worked, the less I wanted to work. So overall, Pomodoros that I did. First one, Beneath the Hawthorn Lies, free wrote 539 words. I concentrated for the entire 25 minutes, which was good. I hoped we'd proceed and continue with that level of concentration and motivation to do work. Obviously, I sort of floundered at the beginning before I worked on Abingdon House. Spent 5 minutes on Wordle, which I shouldn't have done after getting back late to start with my snack, and I worked solidly for 15 minutes setting up the main detailed outline for Abingdon House number 2, and I started moving all of the scenes into the places they needed to be in my major outline. And then my next step there would be to then detail outline each of those scenes so I know where I'm going with them. And then the third one, in which I also got back late because I was making tea, it just took a long time to get into a flow. I sort of dawdled and lost focus a little bit throughout, not majorly. I just sort of sat there, and while I was trying to think of what I needed to write, my mind wandered a little bit, and I was just there like, oh, right, I should be working. So I focused properly for about half, maybe a little over half of that Pomodoro session. So we did better than yesterday. I still have no motivation now to continue working on anything. So I was finally going into the first one. The second one I was just like, ugh, give me another few minutes to get into it. And then the third one I was like, I don't want to do it anymore. But we have improved slightly. Pomodoro certainly helped me remain motivated more than working on it for just 5 minutes has. So that's okay, I guess. We'll call this a partial success. Good morning. Let's immediately gloss over the fact that I am wearing the same clothes for the third day in a row. I've only worn them collectively for about 5 hours, so it's fine. It's fine. My glasses are dirty. Today concludes the first 3 experiments I am attempting in the quest for motivation to write. Today I'm going to be using the Stair Step method, which was a term coined by Kate Kavanagh here on YouTube. They're not clean. It is more of a word count challenge than it is anything else, but it is also timed, which completely matches the type of motivation experiments I am completing. Timed does working to a specific time help increase my motivation as time goes on, or something like that, you know? Anyway, now Kate used this a little bit differently than I'm going to use it, because she was doing hers for a specific experiment in regards to a patron survey that she did. I'm going to be using it thusly. First step is to do a 20-minute sprint, and I will record the word count that I get at the end of that 20-minute sprint. Then I'll move on to a 15-minute sprint, and my aim is to beat my previous word count. It's a challenge against myself, basically, and I take those very seriously. Now, during the 15-minute sprint, if I beat my previously set word count, I will go down to a 10-minute sprint and once again try to beat the new word count that I got. If I fail at the 15-minute sprint of beating my word count, I will go back up to a 20-minute sprint, but try to beat the time that I set in my 15-minute sprint. And so on and so forth until I complete a 5-minute sprint with the best word count, basically. The plan here is obviously, depending on how motivated I am and how focused I am, the quicker I'm going to get through this experiment and can do nothing. We're going to see if it works. I don't. At least I'll get a good chunk of writing in today, you know. Who knows how long this is going to take me. Oh my God. There's only one project that I can do in order to fulfill this part of the experiment, because it's the only one that I'm currently drafting, which is Project Mystic, aka Osaseyoit. So there's no need for the box to pick my project today. Crap. Means I need to finish this stupid scene that I'm stuck on. But at least I'll get past this stupid scene that I'm stuck on. Think of the positives, Sarah. The positives. I have my tea. I have my breakfast. Who knows how long I'm going to procrastinate before I actually start doing the 20-minute writing sprint. It is 8:30 in the morning. Time will tell. But let's go. We have run into a slight problem with the way that I'm doing this stair step method. So half 8, when I finished my last section, I actually started doing the 20-minute sprint at about 20 past 9. It is now 20 past 10. So I got some more tea and got myself a snack and procrastinated a little bit more afterwards. The issue is I wrote 696 words in that 20 minutes. Which is great. It's good. I wrote quite a lot of words. That is a very good writing sprint time for me, especially recently. The problem is now that for the next 3 sprints, I'm going to have to beat that number. And I can't write over 600 words in 5 minutes, no matter how hard I try. So basically, what I knew I should have taken it easy during the first 20-minute sprint. I knew I should have, but I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to actually try. I shouldn't have tried. So now basically what's going to happen is I'm going to do this 15-minute sprint, and I'm going to have to purposely not beat 696 words in order to get the word count lower into something that I can beat in 5 minutes, which is a pain in the butt. Or actually, what I'll do, I'm going to change it up a little bit. Kate, I apologise. If I do, what am I looking for? I'm looking for my calculator. If I have 696 words now for 20 minutes, if I divide that by 4, that's 174. So on average, 174 words every 5 minutes. Okay, math. So in this 15-minute sprint, I need to beat 522 words, which would be 3 sets of 174. We'll do it that way. Because that way I then don't have to do a worse job on purpose in order to then have to do another 20-minute sprint and go back down to 15. So we'll do it that way. That's my average every 5 minutes, and I need to beat my average. Still a challenge against myself. If I don't beat the average, I'll go back up. But, okay. Let us get our 15-minute sprint ready. And we're aiming for 522 words or more in order to continue going down the ladder towards the 5-minute sprint. Eat some more pretzels and let's go. Three sprints down, just one more to go, and we are doing okay. For my 15 minutes, I got 637, which, yay. Basically just copy and pasting, so take all of this with a grain of salt as to how well I'm actually doing. And my 10-minute sprint, got 463, which beat my average that I needed for the 10 minutes, which was 348. So again, with a grain of salt, because I'm going from 0 draft of Project Mystic to draft 1. A lot of what I'm currently writing is basically, this is what I wrote in the 0 draft, and it is literally just not copy pasting, like I'm writing word for word, more or less, into draft 1 from the 0 draft, making some changes to sentence structure, adding in a little bit more detail for inner thought or description or things like that, because there's a few scenes that I don't need to change, whereas the scene that I started off with at the beginning of the video, I had a lot of major changes to put into it. That's why it was so difficult and why I was struggling with it. But for this next entire scene, there's a conversation that has to change ever so slightly, but everything literally is just like what happens in this scene happens both in the 0 draft and the first draft, so there's not a lot I need to change. So it's going to be very easy for me to do 174 words in 5 minutes, unless I hit a bit that I do need to change and I'm like, what do I need to change it to? What sounds good? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some tea. I'm going to drink some water because Those pretzels were very salty. And I'm going to go straight into this last 5-minute sprint, which is an improvement because the last 2 sprints I did, there was like an hour between them, and then another hour or half an hour between my 15-minute sprint and my 10-minute sprint. Now it's only been 5 minutes since my 10-minute sprint, so we are basically just going straight into it. So motivation or just a desire to finish so I don't have to do it anymore. You decide. We're done. Give me a minute. Life-changing Evney, that happened to her today. That happened to her yesterday is what that's supposed to say. I don't know. And for our final 5 minutes, we rode 277 words. Yay! I beat it. I did more than my 5-minute average based on my first 20-minute sprint, which I am super happy about. We're at 2,073 words in total, which is the most I have written consecutively in like a single writing session since the beginning of February. And it's all because of the accountability of the camera and the challenge against myself, which seems like a good motivator. It's not a motivator I can upkeep in my usual writing sessions or my usual writing habits, because I can't really compete against myself when I'm trying to outline something, replot something, or brainstorm something. What am I going to do? Oh, you need to make sure that you brainstorm 5 more words than you did last session. Like, brainstorming doesn't quite work that way. But definitely if I'm doing drafting, or when I get to the point I've got multiple things to draft, this works to get results. And there wasn't ever a feeling today of, oh, I really don't want to do this. Well, there was before I started. And then I started, despite the fact I didn't do all of these sprints consecutively, one after the other immediately. I think because I did one and then took a break and then did the next one, it sort of gave me a minute to refresh. Didn't quite feel like I was forcing myself to, and there was also the challenge element, like, well, I need to beat what I just did last time, otherwise I suck. So Kate, your method is yay for your method. It is definitely helped me today, and I don't feel, right at this second at least, like, oh, I just don't want to do nothing for the end of the day. Like, I don't feel entirely motivated to keep working, because I'm like, now I'm done. I can finish now. But how do I explain this properly? Apologies if you can hear my washing machine. I'm not exactly 100% motivated to continue doing work, but I can see myself randomly doing some more work on something today, because I don't feel exhausted, burnt out, stressed right now, because I've done some work. And I'm happy that I've done some work and it's proper work. Maybe doing work is the motivation. Like, I don't know. I feel like forcing myself to make this video and to sort of trial out these sort of different sprinting methods has definitely shown that if it's a challenge, I'm up for it. And as long as it's not a long challenge, I can do it. So I'm going to have to try and sort of incorporate some sort of personal challenge into my writing sessions in order to maintain some sort of motivation in order to get a decent amount of work done. What it hasn't helped is my overall entire motivation to actually want to work on all of my stuff. But there is progress during the writing sessions. Now I just need to figure out how to get the motivation there in order to want to start the writing sessions without having to force myself. That will have to come another time. But there were some failures and there was some success, and that is all I can hope for. Hopefully at some point I'm going to figure out what is up. I'm going to figure out what I need to do constantly as a habit, perhaps, in order to maintain the motivation, in order to do all the stuff that I need to do, which is a lot, which I'm not very excited about. So that was me experimenting with my motivation. Let me know any tips or tricks that you recommend that I try in order to get myself more motivated to write, and I will give them a go in another video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Good thoughts and happy writing.